Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Susan Dawn Spiritual Connections. Welcome to a brand new Sacred Union Energy update. Yes, we are officially back from summer break. It was a fabulous summer break. I learned a lot. I integrated a lot. I had a lot of fun. I embodied a lot. And for me, that's what it was about. It was learning and practicing a new way of being. All of the lessons, everything that I've learned along this journey, really putting it into practice in the form of embodiment. And that is carrying over into my work life balance. That is carrying over into how I interact. That is carrying over into how I operate my business here on out. It won't look much different on the surface to you guys. It's mostly the background, it's mostly the energy that I am putting into it and the balance that I've created for myself within that I am now reflecting in my external world. So it was a lot of learning, a lot of excitement, a lot of joy, a lot of integration, a lot of continued healing. It was kind of a modge podge of everything, and it was wonderful. I am excited to be back, but again, it is going to be a little bit of a healthier balance for me. So no more burnout for Susan. No more burnout. no more no more burning out. Okay, we're going to get right into it because I channeled quite a bit last night. It must have been 5 o'clock in the morning that I woke up, and there was quite a lot of downloads. And so I knew that I wanted to do this energy update. And we're just going to go with where we are right now. All of the previous Sacred Union energy updates will still stand. All this energy kind of piggybacks off of each other. You can also check out the cosmic support channelings. Uranus just went into Gemini. We had Saturn in Aries transit. So all of these transits are part of the bigger picture for what's going on when it comes to your connection and your sacred union path of ascension, whether it is with regards to your connection with the counterpart or with regards to your inner union. Remember, it's all part of the same, it's all part of the whole. Your counterpart connection catalyzes you, activates you to your sacred union path of ascension. And together you remember who you are. Together you walk each other home. Together you remember what unconditional love truly is. So that being said, I channeled a lot of information. I actually woke up in the middle of the night, middle of the morning, and wrote this to myself on my phone because it was just so much. So I'm just going to do it one by one. First, what I want to talk about is something that came through. When was this? 4:42 a.m. Good grief. Okay. No wonder I'm a little bit tired today. Okay. The question came to me, where is the masculine still holding back? Now, remember, when we're doing these readings, when we're doing these channelings, please take this for your counterpart connection to understand and have compassion, more of what they're experiencing or what they're going through. Also, it can relate and it will relate to your own inner masculine. So, when we're dealing with twin flames, sacred partners, it's not separate. You're not separate from each other. So you can view it depending on what's healing, depending on what is active in your energy at the time. You could be working on your inner masculine or you could be working on your inner feminine. But you have both masculine and feminine energies within you. And the Sacred Union Path of Ascension is all about bringing it into oneness, bringing it into wholeness, balancing those polarities out within yourself. And the more that you balance out those energies within yourself, then you can apply that and express that more consciously in a physical relationship or connection with your counterpart. So both of you are going to be healing your feminine energy and your masculine energy. And if you want a deeper dive into that, you can check out my book, The Unity Code. Okay, so this is specifically for the masculines. And again, you can take it for your inner masculine, but we're speaking to the masculine energy here. Where are you feeling unsafe to initiate, lead, or take action in your own life? This could be something that's very surface level in general, like a relationship, job, travel, business, a move in location, something like that. Or it could be something that is even more general, even more nuanced, like getting a pet, asking a friend you haven't seen in a while to lunch, getting a health checkup, making a phone call, or sending a text. Those are also examples of taking the lead with your own inner masculine, or initiating or taking some kind of action with your own inner masculine. When I'm giving examples, I usually say something like a relationship or a job or travel, business, or a move, because those are the broader themes of our human life. But when we narrow it down, and what they're reminding me is the major arcana are those major life themes, right? The universal themes. And then the minor arcana are like the little decisions that we make every day in our life. And so when we narrow it down to our everyday human life, it could be something like that is more general, something that is more simple, quote unquote, like how are we interacting with people? How are we taking care of our health? Are we socializing? How are we going and asking friends out to dinner or lunch or whatever? Making a phone call, sending a text. These are all actions that we take, ways in which we initiate or take the lead in our life. So the question is whether it's something small or smaller, or whether it's something bigger and more of a universal theme, relationships, a big move, a change in your job, something like that. Where or what is the fear that's holding you back? And that's what's important to look at inside of yourself. So, again, this is the masculine energy, whether that's your masculine counterpart or divine feminine, it's your inner masculine. This is the masculine energy that is still wanting to be healed. So, if you are in any way holding yourself back from leading your life, initiating in some way, again, it could be a bigger theme or it could be something small. Take it as it resonates for you. Where are you still healing that masculine energy? And remember, masculine energy is all about presence, stability, consistency, it's directness, it is security. Are you feeling secure enough to take the lead in your life? Are you feeling secure enough to initiate? Are you feeling secure enough to take some kind of an action? Because so too is action a masculine trait, a masculine experience. And I want to emphasize this. We have both masculine and feminine energies within us. So when you are making decisions, when you are taking actions on those decisions, that's your masculine energy. It could be something as simple as asking a friend to lunch. That's your masculine energy taking the lead and initiating that conversation or initiating that lunch date. If you are let's say making an appointment for a health appointment, that is your masculine energy that is initiating the action to make that health appointment. So we take action in our lives in 1,000 different ways every single day. That's your masculine energy. So when you have a healed masculine energy, a healed inner masculine energy, it is coming from a place of security, coming from a place of stability, coming from a place of presence, coming from a place of consistency. And when I mean consistency, I mean that you are doing what is necessary. It's a sense of discipline. Discipline is a masculine trait as well. So if there is any fear that is holding you back, for example, if you're afraid to make appointments for your health, maybe there's a fear there around health. If you're afraid to reach out to a friend that you haven't talked to in ages, what is that fear? What is it bringing up within you? That's all that root chakra energy, all that feeling of insecurity. And that's where you do the inner work for your inner masculine and ground that in, root in that stability. They're also showing me the solar plexus, and the solar plexus is your place of personal power. It is your place of connecting to yourself. I'm also getting the word willpower, but it's not willpower as in pushing yourself. It's just willpower as in recognizing that you have the power, you have the ability, it's within you. And so that is also connected to the masculine energy. The masculine energies are really situated within the lower three chakras. They're the grounded energies. And so that is where a lot of the inner work has been and is happening for both the masculine counterparts and potentially even for you divine feminines. You might be working on your inner masculine. Another message that came through was a reminder for the divine feminines. When we're talking about the mirror, when we're talking about how your counterpart is reflecting you, is mirroring something to you, the mirror isn't always a direct reflection. So it's not, oh, this person is angry, so where's the anger inside of me? Sometimes it is more indirect. For example, this person is angry, and so the mirror reflects how I'm meant to uphold my boundaries, or I'm meant to express myself more fully in the face of this anger. I'm meant to confront their anger. So it doesn't have to be, oh, I'm angry too because this person is angry at me. It could be, again, boundaries, or where do I need to express myself, or where do I need to confront this? Especially if you have a wound around anger and feeling safe around anger. And again, safety and security and stability is all masculine energy. So sometimes the mirror reflects where we have been initiating and leading the connection. And now, for you, Divine Feminine, it might be time for you to step back and receive. The mirror is always going to show you something about yourself, but it won't always be an easy reflection. It won't always be a direct reflection. And so this is where my guidance sessions really come in. I've had amazing results with my clients with regards to showing them where that mirror actually is. You might think it's one thing, you might think it's more direct, but it could be indirect. It could be something that is in the subconscious. And it's not about the healing so much, it is more about the embodiment, it's more about the empowerment. So you can actually shift the energy and empower yourself. So the masculine energy is what is working, what is being worked on right now. For many of us, it is, where are you stepping up into the next level to be that leader? And I'm going to talk about the astrology and how the astrology is actually supporting that. The astrology is actually also supporting this next piece that also came through at, what time was this? 4:58 a.m. I was literally channeling for like 10 minutes here. Okay, so the other piece is karmic and third party energies. So that is also highlighted right now. Remember that karmic or third party energies does not have to be a person. It can be a relationship, but it is also circumstances or situations. It could be addiction, jobs, financial scarcity, etc. That can also be karmic or third party energies. Karmic or third party energies are not bad. They get a really bad reputation, and that is something that I go into in my book. That's something that I go into in my workshops in the Higher Heart Academy to dispel that reputation that they have. Karmic energies can feel bad, but they are not inherently bad, because karma is literally just cause and effect. Karma itself is a neutral energy. It's us that applies meaning to it. And so what karma is it is literally just lessons and opportunities that are being shown to you in order to help you grow and evolve. So once you begin shifting your beliefs and your patterns, once you begin making new choices, that's when the karma is released. So, for example, Divine Feminines, what is your view of karmic energies, especially if it's another person or a relationship? Once you shift that perspective, it releases the energetic hold that it has on you. There's a caveat here. You're not responsible for your counterpart's journey or for healing their karmic connection or their karmic energies. You're only responsible for healing yourself and how you connect to that energy, or how you perceive that energy. And that's really important. So many of us take on the journey for our counterparts. So many of us want to heal and do the work for our counterparts, and it is not your responsibility. They have their own journey, and that's part of the release. That's part of honoring them and trusting them to do their own journey, honoring them and trusting them to 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 have their own journey. So they have their own lessons to complete. That's part of their own initiation and their own ascension. So that's, again, part of honoring and trusting their journey and honoring and trusting them. But karmic energies do not have to have a hold on you. The reason why karmic energies are heightened right now or highlighted right now is because of Saturn and Aries specifically. There are other transits that are associated with this. There's Neptune in Aries, again, Uranus and Gemini. Like, all of this cosmic energy is playing a huge support. And I'm using the word specifically support because that's what astrology is. Astrology is supporting us. Even though it might feel heavy or dense sometimes, that's only because it is highlighting where we still need to be doing that inner work. Or it's just like triggers. A trigger, I always say, is just showing you where the wound is. It's just showing you where to the hole is, where to fill up on more love, or where to keep doing that inner work of honoring yourself, respecting yourself, embodying that higher essence of yourself. That's all a trigger is. But it can feel really shitty, right? When you're experiencing a trigger, it can feel really shitty, especially when you are at the beginning of your journey, or when you are more in that unconscious state and you don't have all the tools and the resources. But you have the tools and the resources. You've come a really long way. And I always say, please honor yourself. Please reflect on how far you've come, because you have come so far, so that you have all the tools and the resources to be able to transmute and alchemize those triggers. And it's becoming much more easy. Your superpower is your awareness, your level of awareness, your level of consciousness. And the more you're aware of, oh, this is an old pattern, oh, this is an old belief, that's why I'm being triggered, because that's no longer in alignment with who I am, who I want to become, and where my soul is leading me. So it's triggering you because it's an old energy. It's an energy that wants to be healed. And so that's where you do that inner work, by changing the pattern or shifting the belief or changing your perspective or doing some shadow work. You have all the tools, the resources, and the modalities. And if you are stuck, simply email me or book a session with me, because we will support you and help you work through it. So with these transits, the important thing to remember is what you give your energy to is what persists. So let's talk about the transits for a second before I go back to the karmic energy. So Saturn is now retrograde until November. It's retrograding right now. Just a couple of days ago, it moved retrograde in the sign of Aries at 1 degree until September. So it had just moved into Aries, and now it is retrograding just a little bit back into 1 degree until September, where in September it's going to slip back into the sign of Pisces until November. We had just moved Saturn out of Pisces into Aries. I have a whole channeling on Saturn and Aries and what that means. So what does that mean when it actually continues to go direct or moves back direct? And how is that going to impact your connection? How is that going to impact your life? Remember, retrogrades are times of review. It is times of reevaluation, times of reflection. And so while Saturn is going retrograde, it is just a time to reconnect with yourself. It's karmic closure, is what I had channeled. This is a second chance to integrate everything you've been learning, to heal what's left, and to open the door for that lasting transformation when it goes direct again in Aries in November. So again, retrograde just means that it's slowing down. The planet looks like it's moving backwards, but it's not. It's just slowing down to such a degree that it looks like it's moving backwards. So we had just moved Saturn into Aries a couple of months ago. We channeled that and channeled what that means. Now we're retrograde. We're going to slip back into the sign of Pisces. But again, it is all for that reflection, all for that review, all for a reevaluation, all for that second chance to integrate everything that you've been learning so that you are truly creating that lasting transformation, so that you can truly lead from soul alignment. We also have the Lionsgate coming up. They reminded me. The Energetic Gateway opens July 27th and peaks on August 8th. We'll talk more about that in some upcoming channelings. I also have a workshop in the Higher Heart Academy about the Lionsgate, and I'll be sharing that again coming up. But lots of karmic energy is highlighted because it's calling for that karmic closure. Again, the universe wants you to align with yourself, wants you to close out those karmic patterns, those karmic energies. It's done. You've learned the lesson. And so now how are you going to integrate that to move forward? So where was I? What you give your energy to is what persists. So keep turning inwards. Keep cultivating the inner union. Okay. I don't know where this was coming from, so I don't have a easy transition into this. There was something that was coming through with regards to karmic energies. Those who are not twin flames, this is just kind of like a reminder for those of you who are on this twin flame sacred union journey. Those who are not twin flames, or who aren't in connection, or who don't have that sacred partner activation, who might not understand ascension or the sacred union path of ascension, those who might still be unconscious in their own journey. They might be twin flames or sacred partners. Again, the labels don't matter, but they might not be entirely conscious of their journey. Those people will not understand your connection or your journey. They will not. They will not understand. It's very similar to myself. When I was first activated to this journey, 2 months prior, I was in New York with one of my best friends and soul sisters, and she was talking to me about her experience and the term twin flame. And it was like there was just this black veil that came over my consciousness. I do not recall any conversation that we had about that. We were talking a lot about spirituality because I had already gone through the majority of my spiritual awakenings over the past couple of years previous, and she was just going through hers. And so we were having a lot of spiritual conversations. We were literally in an apartment that was filled with crystals, had an Airbnb. So the conversation that she was trying to have with me about twin flames, I could not hear it. I could not understand it because I had not yet been activated to the journey. That was a precursor to my journey. I understand it now. So 2 months later, when I met my counterpart and was activated, that's when all the pieces started to fall into place. But prior to that activation, in my level of unconsciousness, I could not hear it. I could not understand it. And to this day, I do not remember a single thing that she said about twin flames. We've since had dozens and thousands of conversations about it, so I understand in a higher degree, in a higher frequency, obviously, in a higher place. But back then, I was not activated, so I had no idea what she was talking about. It did not make sense, and it was literally when I know where we were having dinner. I can picture it. I can picture the meal. I can picture her across the table from me. I have no idea to this day what was said. It is literally a blank slate. So that is what you will experience when you're speaking to other people who, again, are maybe not twin flames or who are not yet conscious or activated to this journey. That is for a number of different reasons. Number one is because it's a personal experience. Your twin flame sacred union path of ascension is a personal experience because spirituality is a personal path. We can share it with others, and that's really important because it's important to have that support. But it's important also to be mindful who you're sharing it with. We're walking each other home. We're not trying to force beliefs or understanding on each other. So connect with who your soul resonates. Connect with those who understand. Connect with those who feel you, who hear you. Connect with those who have an understanding of what twin flames or this journey is. That's why we have this community here. We have this community because we are all walking this collective journey. We're all having our own personal experiences, but this is also a collective experience, also a collective journey. And so you know that you're in a place where it's resonating with others, and so you can have that support, and you do have that support. So make sure that you're mindful with who you're speaking with about this journey. That is not meaning for you to hold back or keep yourself small or keep yourself in any way disengaged or to seclude yourself or to isolate yourself from other friends or family members. Not at all. It is not meant for you to keep secret. It is just meant for you to be aware that other people who are of this journey or are on this journey, other people might not fully understand it. And so if you're talking about this journey, you're talking about this connection, remember it's a sacred journey, it's a sacred connection, you might not get the response that you would hope for. But there are soul family, there are people who are on this journey who will understand you, okay? Number two, this is especially for karmic or third parties. They will not understand the connection because they're still operating from the old paradigm and template of what love is. And so this could be family members, this could be friendships, this could be other relationships. So this is piggybacking off of what we were saying about how people might not understand or even hear what it is that you're saying. They will try. And so, again, be very compassionate to them. You were once unconscious too. You were once, in a state, whether it was with regards to this journey or anything with regards to spirituality, you were once unconscious too. So have compassion. Do not judge anyone for where they are. They are where they are meant to be for them and their journey. Again, it's a personal journey, it's a personal experience. This is just a reminder for you to be mindful, with whom you're sharing. Again, that is not to seclude or isolate yourself from other people. It is just meant to be aware who you're connecting with and in what ways you're connecting with. I have my group of friends that is spiritual and soul sisters who are on this journey with me, and I have my group of friends who are not. And I get along with both in various different ways. My best friends in both circles. So it's just about, how are you connecting with people? How are you connecting with the people in your life? Okay, so especially karmic or third parties, they will not understand the connection because they're still operating from the old paradigm and template of what love is. That's to say, they're still operating in the unconscious. Again, that's not to blame. We do not judge or fault anyone for where they are. We hold compassion and space for them. It's up for you to again be mindful. So for example, throughout my own personal journey, I've attempted to get people close to my counterpart and I to understand how I feel even in the throes of separation. That even though we were broken up, even though we weren't together, the love was still there, at least for me. And so the forgiveness was there. The desire to communicate and start over and have second chance was still there. But all they could hear was what they wanted to project onto the situation based on their own experiences and their own understanding of what relationship is. Oh, you're broken up? Then it's done. Oh, you're broken up? Then you must hate this person. And that never resonated with me because I know what it is on a soul level, on a soul connection. Now, what I did do was I stopped chasing that understanding. And again, I literally only speak to my soul sisters who are on the same journey because they understand the energetics. It's not just what the relationship or connection looks like on the surface, there's also an energetics because they're experiencing it themselves. So that's what I mean by being mindful of where you're putting your energy. You know what your connection is. You can have a level of acceptance for what's happening in the 3D. You don't chase it, you don't force yourself, you don't manipulate anything. You allow it to be what it is in the 3D, but you nurture the inner reality. You nurture the inner connection. You nurture the love. You connect with that love that is in your heart. And you know what your connection is. You know what your desire is. No one else has to. That's where you trust yourself. So, and that's where you trust the love. So, if that's resonating and if that's making sense, and if you would like additional support, again, I have workshops in the Higher Heart Academy that goes into karmic energies. There's one called Clearing the Karmic. There's one about the soulmate path for those who might be experiencing third parties with regards to relationships and maybe experiencing other relationships that I call the soulmate path. Or there's a workshop about connecting on the bridge of the heart. So the Higher Heart Academy is a full resource for you to go deeper and not just learn about union. It is how you are living your union and embodying your union from the inside out, not focus on what's going on outside of yourself. Okay? All right. Let's get into the reading. All right, I thought I would use the Angels, Gods, and Goddesses deck today and just see what's going on for the masculine, the feminine, and the union energies. Where are we? This is going to be the starting point for, again, more readings going forward from where we are prior to break. Let's see what's going on. What's going on for the masculine, please? What's going on for the masculine? Goddess of the sacred path. Let go of logic and trust your intuition. Interesting, because we've been talking about the masculine energy. This is feminine energy. This is the balance. This is the union within that they are connecting with. Or at the very least, what I'm hearing is beginning to connect with. Logic is all masculine energy. Intuition is all feminine energy. And what's happening here along their ascension journey is they're learning to let go of logic. What makes sense to their ego, what makes sense to the brain, what makes sense to their physical senses, and learning to trust what is inside. Divine Feminine, this has been the core and the crux of your journey. You learning how to trust what is within, learning how to trust your intuition. That has been the heart of your own ascension journey. Now it's the masculine's turn. It's the masculine's turn to learn how to trust that. We had channeled many months ago, might even be a year ago now. Time is so weird like that. Do you guys find that? Time feels so weird these days. We had channeled that the higher mind was coming online with the higher heart. That the feminine energy was coming online with the masculine energy, coming into balance. And so what's happening here is this is that inner union. They are learning to recognize that it might not make logical sense. This connection might not make logical sense. Everything they're experiencing might not make logical sense. Divine Feminines, for you, it never did make logical sense. That's what you had to give up. You had to learn how to trust within you, trust what you were feeling, even though the physical was saying something completely different. Your intuition was always speaking loudly or more loudly. And that's where you had to have discernment. Is this actually my ego or is this actually my intuition? That's what you had to learn, Divine Feminines. You had to learn that discernment. You had to learn, okay, so what's happening on the surface, on the physical, is one thing, and I have to accept that. But in my inner knowing, in my heart, I know different. In my heart, I can sense this connection. And you had to trust everything that you're feeling, everything that you were experiencing, all the phenomena you were experiencing. You had to learn to trust that and not doubt that, despite other people saying, hey, this isn't true. Despite other people, doubting you or making you doubt yourself. That could have even been your counterpart. Your counterpart might have been in resistance and pushing that away and making you doubt yourself. Maybe they were saying one thing, but the energy was saying something else. That was not for you to push. That was not for you to force. It was for you to accept while nurturing that inner connection to yourself, nurturing that inner knowing. And so that's what the masculine is experiencing right now. They're learning to let go of what makes sense to their physical senses and listen to their heart, listen to their intuition. And that's a new way of being, is what they're saying. That's a new way of living for them, a new way of being. They have been somebody who has, perhaps they are intuitive, but they have more often trusted their physical reality. And I'm also getting the energy of that's what made them feel more in control. Trusting their intuition or following their intuition, that made them feel out of control. Because again, the masculine is very grounded energy. It's very logical energy. And so this is where the balance is. And it might be a little bit uncomfortable. Disquieting is the word that I'm hearing. It might be disquieting for the masculine. But that's what they're learning. They're learning how to connect with their own heart, how to connect with their own soul. They're learning what true intuition is versus what the ego might say. That's what discernment really is. And they're learning that what they might have thought, what they might have perceived is not all there is. We'll get a little bit more about that later. They're just pointing me to the spiral, and this is their ascension. It's an inner spiral. Ascension, you might think that you are raising up. Ascension is essentially lifting up, right? What you're actually doing is you're raising in frequency, but you do that by going deeper and deeper and deeper in connection to your true self. That's the path of ascension. All right, let's see what's going on for the Divine Feminine. All right, the Divine Feminine doesn't seem to be ready, so we're going to continue with the Divine Masculine and go a little bit deeper and see what are they experiencing? What's going on with their journey? Maybe even how are they experiencing the connection with your counterpart at this time? All right, what do we need to know about the masculine? What do we need to know about the masculine? Okay, the Ten of Swords. Immediately what I'm hearing is that karmic closure. It's an ending. The Ten of Swords can feel very painful, especially if you've been in resistance to endings, if you've been in resistance to changes, if you've been in resistance to transformation. But the sun always rises, and you can see that in this card, there is a sunrise behind him. So the sun always rises, and the 10 always reverts to the one, or goes back to the one, to a new beginning. And so this is transformation, is what this energy is giving me. It's just giving me this transformation, allowing endings to come so that new beginnings can take their place. It feels like karmic closure. It feels like karmic completion. Same with the world. Yep, exactly. The world is the last card in the major arcana. So this is major life events for this divine masculine. This is a major karmic completion, a karmic cycle that is completing. Whatever they have been through, and for some reason they're bringing me back a couple of years, and I feel like this is connected to these transits. It might even be connected to Saturn transit. Whatever this was over the past couple of years that has been playing out in their karmic experience, lessons learned, experiences gained, part of their own soul's evolution, there is a closure, there is a completion that is happening, so they can begin a new level of themselves, a new level of their journey. I'm also getting the Six of Swords energy that feels like a lot more peace coming in. When you complete karma, when you close that chapter of your life, it is going to feel more peaceful, especially if in the past it felt very chaotic. And so that's what this feels like. This feels like closure. It might feel painful to end a chapter, and that's why we tend to resist, because it's painful to let go. It's painful to believe that there could be something better. And so you repeat patterns over and over and over and over, but that just keeps you in a karmic loop. When you're finally ready to let go, when you're finally ready to transform, when you're finally ready for that next level of yourself and your life, that's when everything opens up. That's when you have this completion. That's when you end a cycle, and that's when you gear up for the new. You get ready for the new, because new is coming in. Tell me more about the divine masculine, please. Tell me more about the divine masculine. The Hanged Man. They might be at a little bit of a standstill. Divine masculine, you might be at a little bit of a standstill, where you're wondering, why isn't anything actually happening? I'm closing these cycles, I'm completing these chapters, but nothing new is coming in. Well, that's a transition stage. There's always energy that's moving underneath the surface. You might be integrating those lessons. You might be leveling up in your frequency, in your energy field. You might be clearing out some of those tendrils, the debris of karma. You might still be working on embodiment. That's the integration. You might still be working on putting that into practice. So it might look on the surface like it's stuck or stagnant, like nothing's happening, but there's always something happening energetically underneath the surface. The energy is always moving. So it might just look like that, but you're not going to be stuck for long. Or you're not going to feel stuck for long. Tell me more about the divine masculine. What's going on with the divine masculine? Queen of Swords. The energy that I'm getting from this Queen of Swords, I'm going to take that with the Queen of Pentacles. You also have the Queen of Cups. Okay, so this is a lot of that feminine energy, a lot of trusting your intuition, a lot of connecting with your inner feminine, while allowing that inner masculine to rise. Remember we talked about in that channeling about where are you needing to lead your life? Where are you needing to initiate? Where are you needing to express yourself? Where are you still holding yourself back from initiating or taking action? That's this energy that I'm getting here with the queens. Queens is feminine energy, but it's also putting it into balance with your masculine. So the energy that I'm getting from the Queen of Swords is honesty. Where do you need to be honest with yourself? And where do you need to ground that into your physical world, into physical practice? Where do you need to be open and honest with your emotions? And where do you need to express that more? That could be in relationship, that could be in connection, that could be in just every day in your life. Where are you needing to honor, connect with, in radical honesty, your own emotions? And so that's your feminine energy. And where are you needing to take action on that? And by action, I mean maybe it's having an honest conversation. Maybe it's expressing your emotions or expressing your feelings. Maybe it is about making a decision that's going to bring in more stability to your life, to yourself. So this is all about the balance. All about the balance. You're balancing the polarities. This is your inner union. And at the bottom of the deck, you also have the Six of Wands. Six of Wands, I'm getting it's just a source of pride. It's this source of take pride in yourself. You know, take pride in how far you've come, honor how far you've come, and know that you have been victorious in this sense of rebirth and overcoming your past. This is over. This is done. Whatever this ending was, it's done. It's over. You might still feel, again, the tendrils and the debris of it, but it's over. It's done. So, keep moving forward is this energy that I'm getting here. All right, we're going to see how the masculine, we're just going to continue with the masculine for a minute. How is the masculine connecting with the divine feminine? How is the divine masculine connecting with the divine feminine or feeling about the divine feminine? We have the Seven of Cups and the Knight of Cups. I feel like they do want to move forward and connect with the divine feminine in some way. If you're already in contact or communication with the divine feminine, this could be, I'm just hearing conversation. I feel a deeper connection, a deeper sense of intimacy. For some of you, this might actually be taking a next step in a romantic way, in a romantic connection. For others of you who might not be in connection, this is about expressing oneself. Again, communication, taking that step in communication. However, with the Seven of Cups energy, I'm getting a lot of Neptune energy here. With the Seven of Cups energy here, there might be some confusion, mental confusion, a little fogginess as far as how to step forward, how to offer the heart, how to offer that heartfelt communication, how to offer that sense of self-expression. So there's still some ego, there's still some focusing on the logic, focusing on the mind, and kind of maybe negating the heart. And that's what's balancing out here. That might be part of the karmic completion that's coming to a close, where they are learning to express themselves from that heart space and not being afraid to. That's the leadership. That's the masculine energy. Again, where are you afraid to initiate? Where are you afraid to take the lead? Where are you afraid to take some kind of action? Where are you holding yourself back? So it could be, that could relate to this as well. Always take the messages how they resonate for you in your personal journey. All right, anything else for the masculine? Ace of Wands. Yeah. Ace of Wands, that fire, that passion is still there. That connection is still there. And aces are always new beginnings. The Ace of Wands is also this, is a fire energy. So it's also this energy of it just feels like reawakening. I keep getting the second chance energy coming through. So this new beginning, this second chance, this kind of lighting the flame again. That's what this feels like. So it's just that Seven of Cups. What do we need to know about that Seven of Cups? I'm going to take that. What do we need to know about that Seven of Cups? What do we need to know about that Seven of Cups? Justice, balance. Again, balancing that logic with the intuition. Balancing the feminine with the masculine. You, divine masculine, you might have been in more one than the other. And it's about bringing it back into balance. Bringing that back into balance. There's also this energy here with regards to the connection of bringing the connection back into balance. That's this energy here. Bring yourself back into balance, divine masculine, and you will bring the connection back into balance. That's what I'm hearing. Okay, I wanted to see if there was anything else there, and there is not. So let's take a look at what's going on for the feminine. Divine feminine, what do we need to know for you? Where are you on your journey? Where's the divine feminine on her journey? All right, Divine Feminine, we have Angel of Vision. Someone is not revealing part of the story. Trust your feelings over what others say. Didn't we just channel that? Didn't we just talk about that, right? We talked about how other people might not understand their journey because they are approaching it from their level of consciousness, their understanding of what relationships is. Now, if you trust that, if you listen to them over yourself, you're going to get yourself confused. That's what I experienced on my journey many, many years ago. Because I was listening to outside resources, because I was trying to understand this connection based on the old template of what relationships was, it caused a lot of confusion. Because I was trusting and listening to even what my counterpart was saying versus trusting my own intuition, again accepting what my counterpart was saying, but learning to trust my intuition. Because I was doubting myself, there was so much confusion. That vision was clouded. Now, through your journey, you're at a place where you're able to hold multiple realities. You're able to understand, okay, this is what's happening in the physical, but that's not all there is. So even though you might be in no communication, no contact, separation, even though your counterpart might be pushing you away, and always, always, always respect your counterpart and where they are. Always, respect what is being shown to you, while you can still hold space within your own inner knowing. You can still hold space for the connection. You can still connect energetically because it is within you. It is within. Your union always has been within you. It is not something outside of yourself. It's expressed outside in the physical, but only once you anchor that in within. So this is about trusting yourself, trusting your own inner knowing, trusting your intuition. Anywhere where there are seeds of doubt that have been planted outside of you, that's where you have to come home to your own inner knowing. I'm just getting this, it just looks like tears, doesn't it? Like she's crying. And it's just, I'm reminded that you have been through it, Divine Feminine. You have come such a long way from the pain, from the triggers, from the confusion, to have been able to navigate this journey with grace, to have been able to navigate this journey with still having love in your heart. That is the new template. Forgiveness and love is the new template. That doesn't mean that you're excusing poor behavior or that you are lowering your standards. You have your boundaries because you're loving and you're honoring yourself. And now you are anchoring into that inner union. Now you are trusting what you're feeling. And that is literally how you create. That is how you create your life, not just your union. That is literally how you create your life. Whether it's money, whether it is something with your business or career, whether it is your dream home, whether it is friendships, whatever that is how you create. You create from the inside out. And so that is what you have to trust. There are people who will be operating from that old level of unconsciousness. And it's not about the ego. That's where you have discernment. It's not about the ego. It is about anchoring in to your own inner knowing and trusting your feelings, trusting yourself over anything else. I'm also getting this energy that the time, the journey that was filled with so much pain is coming to a close or has come to a close. That is part of your own closure, Divine Feminines. The part of your journey that was experienced in the pain, where you were triggered, where you were just experiencing that twin flame aspect of the journey, as I like to call it, right? The flame part of it. You're not getting burned anymore. In fact, you've learned how to nurture that flame in a way that it's like, this metaphor is getting away from me. I can't quite grasp what they're trying to say. All right, I'm just going to leave that there. You have learned to alchemize that pain, to transmute that pain. You're not getting burned by the twin flame energy anymore. And that's where I call it the twin soul. I mean, it's the same thing. Twin flame, twin soul. It's the same thing. We use that label. We use both labels just depending on the context. It's the same thing. It's just a higher level, a higher frequency. So that, again, that that twin flame energy, it's not burning you. It's not hurting you. You're not hurting yourself. So, okay, let's leave that there. There's something else here. I'm going to get another card here for the Divine Feminine. I feel like there's something else here. Again, for you too, more peace. I was getting the Six of Swords energy for the Divine Masculine. You have the peace stuff here for the Divine Feminine. So more peace coming in. More peace. You just feel overall more peaceful about your connection. You feel more peaceful about your life, more peaceful about your journey. Just more peaceful and harmonious within yourself. So let's get another card, please. I feel like there's another message here for the Divine Feminines. What else do I need to know for the Divine Feminine? Oh, okay. Angel of Space Clearing. It is time to clear old negative thoughts and feelings. Yeah. So this feels like just a cleanup, like an energetic cleanup, as you are beginning to anchor in and invite in the new. And so it depends on where you are in your journey. You might have been in this phase. I was just talking to one of my soul sisters who is kind of going through like a preparation phase where she's cleaning up some of the energy and literally cleaning up stuff in her house. I went through that several months ago. I was kind of going through a crisis of faith from November, not crisis of faith. It wasn't really a crisis of faith. It was more of like an existential thing from November until like maybe March. And what that was just an activation to the next level of my own journey. And so until around March or April, I found myself really shifting my habits around my health, because my health has been one of my priorities, shifting my habits around health and nutrition and the way that I work and do things. Again, that work-life balance. I was clearing out my closets. I was clearing out my wardrobe and kind of leveling up in my wardrobe and just all areas of my life, just shifting all areas of my life. And that was kind of like a preparation phase. And so it really depends on where you are in your journey. There's no hierarchy, there's no superiority, there's no better or worse, ahead or behind, none of that. It's just wherever you are. So whether you're going through that now or you've already been through that or you're going to be going through that, recognize that it is just kind of a preparation for that next level, for that next version of you, for that next level of your journey. And that's what this feels like. It just feels like clearing out any of that old energy, any of the old beliefs, the old patterns, the old sense of identity, your old self-concept, how you viewed yourself, even how you viewed your connection. It's clearing out all that energy so that you can invite in the new and be able to also, I'm hearing, receive the new. Not just invite it in, but be able to receive it and be able to hold it and be able to sustain it. Okay. And that's part of this, trusting your feelings, trusting, what do they say? Trusting your feelings over what others say, trusting your intuition. That's part of it. That's part of really embodying and anchoring into your inner knowing by clearing out external influence, clearing out the old energy. That's part of it as well. What's going on for the Divine Feminine? Okay. Six of Swords, yep. And the Emperor. So with the Emperor, this feels like your inner masculine, where you have really anchored that in. And now with the Six of Swords, it's like, now, okay, I've anchored in that inner masculine. I've anchored in that sense of union where I have balanced out the dualities within me. I'm feeling secure. I'm feeling stable. I'm feeling present with myself and my inner masculine. I know when to initiate and lead, and I know when to receive and when to trust my intuition and take action. So you're in that state of balance, and that is where your life is moving into the next. You're moving towards the next, and that's where the calm and the peace is coming from, because you have cleared this energy and anchored in that inner masculine energy. Trying to see if that relates to your external masculine, and of course it will relate to your external masculine, but I'm not getting anything specifically for them. So this really feels like just honoring yourself, honoring your inner masculine. Let's see what else is coming through. Oh yeah, see, you've planted new seeds. You've planted those new seeds, and now it's about you guys are going to hate me for saying this. It's about having patience. It's not patience as in passively waiting. You're no longer in the energy of passively waiting. You're not even in the energy of holding space. You're in this energy of just knowing that the seeds that you've planted have come to harvest or will come to harvest. It's just trusting. That's what it is. It's just trusting and having faith and just knowing. That's all it is. Let me give an example here. I planted my first vegetable garden. That's a big deal for me because I do not have a green thumb. My counterpart was the one with a green thumb. I do not have a green thumb. But I planted my first vegetable garden, and it was a blast. It was a lot of hard work, but it was a blast. And so I water it every day. I nurture it every day, but I'm not checking it every day to see why isn't there any vegetables growing yet. I see the plants, I see the shoots. Why aren't there any vegetables? I'm not worried about that because it'll come in time. I just have this knowing. I planted the seeds. I am seeing the results of that come to fruition from my inner nurturance, but I also just have the expectation that it's going to come. It's going to come. I release the expectation of how. That's not my job. I release the expectation of when. That's not my job. I just have to let nature take its course. That's what manifestation is. You're literally just letting the universe do its job and bring it to you while you're just in your state of knowing it's coming. It's coming. Because I'm balanced, because I am continuing to create in my life, in my everyday, because I am continuing to move forward. I'm not passively waiting. I'm not holding myself back. I know that everything that I desire is coming. It just is. It just is. Of course it is. You just say to yourself, of course it is. Of course it is. God does not plant a desire in your heart if it is not meant to come to fruition in some way, shape, or form. But your job is to let go of how or when or what it looks like. You don't have to know that. You just have to trust it. One of the other things that was so cool for me was recognizing the strength of those plants. When you plant a seed, it is, a couple inches beneath the soil. And you dig a little hole and you plant a seed and you put all that topsoil on and it's thick, right? And then you water it and it becomes even thicker, right? And you're like, man, when you think about plants, they're tender, they're fragile in a sense. And you think, how are they going to come through the soil? And I remember I asked my dad that once because he was an agriculture major. I asked him once and I said, it's incredible that plants grow at all, that they come through the soil at all. And he said, that's because of their strength. That's because of their strength. That's because of your strength. That you are giving birth to new versions of yourself. And you don't have to force it. You just have to trust it. You just have to trust the process of your own becoming. And that's what you're doing. You're trusting the process of your own becoming, and that's what aligns you to your manifestations. Manifestation is not something outside of yourself. It is all within you. All you have to do is trust the process of your own becoming. You have been becoming this new version of you. Now trust that those seeds are going to bear full fruit. Yeah, Wheel of Fortune at the bottom of the deck. Wheel of Fortune is all about fated events. It's all about divine timing. Just trust the timing. Trust your own alignment. Beneath that is the Two of Cups. You are not on the sacred union path of ascension without purpose. You were guided to the sacred union path of ascension for a reason. You can trust that. You can trust that. All right, let's see what's going on for your counterpart. How are you feeling about your counterpart, Divine Feminine? Ooh, Two of Cups. Two of Cups. Maybe you can feel the energy. There's a lot of telepathy that feels heightened right now. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of telepathy that feels heightened right now. Even if you are feeling somewhat disconnected from your counterpart, even if you're just not, if you're not actively connected to your connection, I don't know how else to put this. If you are not even focused on your connection, they might be coming in dream state. You might be having visions. You might be having telepathy. I was at dinner, not even thinking about my counterpart, furthest thing from my mind, and all of a sudden I heard him say something that always used to make me laugh, that he used to say as like a catchphrase that always used to make me laugh. And it was like clear as day, like a drop in, like a download in my mind. I had what was it, sneezed or something like that, and I heard him, and clear as day. So like there's telepathy that is being experienced too. So you're always connected. You don't have to force the connection. You don't have to constantly be thinking of them. In fact, that's an energy of chasing. You don't have to give them your energy. You don't have to give them your attention. The connection is always within you. Your union is always within you. You don't have to be afraid that if you don't think of them, that you're forgotten. You don't have to be afraid that if you're not thinking of them, that oh my gosh, maybe they're not thinking of me then. You don't have to be afraid. That's only where you're abandoning yourself, where you might be, self abandoning, self sabotaging, because you're still in that chasing mode, still in that chasing energy. Let yourself be. Your connection is a lived experience. And what I mean by that is it is part of you. It is always part of you. You don't have to worry. I went through that a couple of weeks ago where I did a whole healing session on myself around, feeling forgotten. And I said, well, I haven't forgotten him. The love is still there. There's no way that he could forget me. And not even, from that place of connection, or that place of soul connection. It was, you don't forget people, especially people that you have profound connections with, or relationships with, or friendships with. It might feel to the ego that you're out of sight, out of mind. And sometimes, we might even compartmentalize and push people to the furthest brackets of our mind, to the furthest boxes of our mind, so that we want to forget them. What, maybe that's an ex, maybe that's an old friend, maybe that's an old, coworker or something. But they were part of your experience. They were part of your human experience. You don't forget people. You don't forget, the parts that they played in your life. And your counterpart definitely does not forget you. All right, anything else we need to know? Anything else we need to know? Oh, interesting. The Hanged Man for you too, Divine Feminine, and the Four of Cups. So with this Four of Cups, it might feel, again, with the Hanged Man, like nothing is happening. There might be a sense of, I'm getting this word apathy. There might be the sense of apathy that might be coming from you. You might be projecting that onto your counterpart, like, oh, he doesn't care, nothing's happening, so he doesn't care. You might be feeling a little bit bored too, Divine Feminine. You might be feeling a little bit apathetic towards the connection too, like, I just don't care, I'm living my life, I just don't care. So take it as it resonates. It's going to relate to everybody in a little bit of a different way. I'm getting multiple messages here. It's because you're putting the emphasis on the physical. Don't put the emphasis on the physical. Keep connected to your heart. What is it that is true to you? That the connection lives within you. It's expressed in the physical. You will see that in the physical in some way, shape, or form. But the more that you are focused on the physical as evidence, the more you're actually literally pushing the connection away. Don't look to the physical as evidence. It's not evidence. The physical is a manifestation of the energy, and the energy always comes first. So keep connecting within. Keep connecting within. Well, there's the Emperor again. This is my friend Luna's deck. Man, I love these cards. So there's the Emperor again. So this is the counterpart. So again, you might, let me see what this Emperor is showing up for. There's something about the way that he's looking. What do we need to know about this Emperor here? How's the feminine feeling about the masculine? So we have the Six of Wands. It came out in the reverse, and I'm going to take it in the reverse. I don't usually read reversals unless I'm called to. I'm going to take it as reverse. So again, this feels like something, some kind of lack of closure. So you might feel like there's a lack of closure, and you're looking towards your masculine to create that sense of closure. Recognize that you have the ability within yourself, within your own inner masculine, divine feminines. And that's what's going to bring this upright. That's going to be that victory. That's going to be that success. And you see how you're riding together? So anything that needs closure within you, any feelings about your connection, if there's any lingering resentment, if there's any lingering upset, if there's any lingering, like I said, like for me, I had to work through feeling forgotten, feeling abandoned. And so that brought a sense of closure and peace to myself. And so I could feel that within the energy of the connection. Something shifted within me. And so that brought that sense of closure and brought that sense of, I don't want to use the word victory. I don't have another word for it because Six of Wands indicates victory. Um, just brought that sense of peace, just brought that sense of closure, brought that sense of clarity, brought that sense of, okay, it's settled. It's settled. Like I feel better about it. That's the kind of victory I'm talking about. And so look within yourself, within your own inner masculine, what what closure, what you can create, where you can create closure within yourself regarding your connection. Okay? Okay, let's just get a card for the union energies. Final card for the night. For the union energies, what do we need to know? Angel of families. The angels surround both of you and your family at this moment. Family could be playing a significant part, especially if you are connected to each other's family. It could also be just soul family, where you are each other's family. And so recognize that you are both divinely supported as each other's family, as each other's soul family. So I feel like this is more saying that you're still divinely connected, you're still divinely supported, and this is what you can trust. All right, I am officially open for bookings again for my one-on-one guidance sessions. I will not have readings available until potentially next month for the Lionsgate. I'm debating that. I will let you guys know. But I am open for one-to-one sessions, or you can always join the Higher Heart Academy. I am always adding more content, and we have our Higher Heart alignment calls there. I have so much exciting news to come. I was also doing some work in the background. I cannot wait to share all of that with you. So we will be back with some more readings, as well as all the exciting news, all the excitement. I'm not gonna. It's so hard for me to not spill the beans, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait a little bit. All right, sending you guys so much love, so much light, and we'll see you soon.